Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. Disney has fired Snow White.
Well, this whole thing starts from a rumor that Inside the Magic put a headline up that says Disney suspends Snow White's presence in theme parks indefinitely amid ongoing investigation. And now everybody's thinking Snow White's been removed from the theme parks. She's not.
No.
One cast member was fired, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, in this case, I'm going to tell you, again, as people who are familiar with Disney and how they do things and their contracts and what the agreements are, Disney was probably well within their rights to terminate her. So we're gonna talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
All right, so walk us through this.
So how it started was I saw this headline from Inside the Tragic, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Because immediately people are going to run with, "Oh no, Snow White's not in the parks anymore." So I had to go put up an article saying that they did not remove Snow White from the parks because people are immediately going to assume that, which is what their intention was when they clickbait the hell out of everything.
Right.
But it was one cast member in the Disney College program that was fired after an investigation. So apparently this chick, she was playing Snow White and Anna by the sounds of it. Sophia Dottir, or I don't know how to say her name. She was fired and she claims, there's a whole video up on YouTube from her. If you go out to piratesandprincesses.net and read the article, her video is at the bottom explaining what she said happened. And she said that she got called into an office after work, apparently supposedly about this picture she had posted and a video she had said where she was talking about being Snow White at Akershus in Epcot Pavilion, Norway.
Right.
And about doing a picture of it up on social media or on Instagram.
Right.
But it was a picture of her as a child.
Right.
Okay.
Which is cute.
Yeah. So some things are simply meant to be. So the implication is that she's playing Snow White at Akershus. Okay.
Right.
Which I think she was. And Disney supposedly got mad at her, and she said they only ever showed her this one thing, and she said, no, that was just me as a kid. You misunderstood what I was saying. And showed them the image, and they supposedly had her write up a explanation, okay, for this one image. And they were going to investigate her. And during the investigation, she was supposed to not be, she was banned from the parks, banned from Disney Springs, banned from anything Disney, which I think is kind of extreme and ridiculous. And that she was supposed to wait to hear what she was allowed to work, and she still had to pay for her rent. Because the Disney College program is the biggest company store bullshit ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because they get a bunch of kids in to do internships for like a few months. But in part of your internship, you live in their dorms, and you have to pay them to be there. They pay you too, but you have to live where they tell you. Apparently, well, I don't know if everybody does, but a lot of people have to. So then they eventually fired her, and she got one day to leave and got moved out. And she says it was just because of that picture. However, when you actually go out to her Instagram, it wasn't just one picture. She's been doing it for a while. There's rules against. I'll let you explain how that works.
So especially if you are a face character in Disney, as I understand it, even if you're, a masked character like Mickey or Donald or whatever, you're not allowed to tell people that you are. The general public is not allowed to know because it breaks the fantasy.
Yeah, it's character. What they call it? They call it the character integrity, because you're allowed to say you're a friend of somebody.
Yes,
but you're not allowed to say,
Yeah, so that is actually code. If somebody says, "Oh, yeah," if you're like, "Hey, you work at Disney World," and if somebody says, "Yeah, I'm a friend of Goofy," that's code for, "Yeah, I work at Disney World and I play Goofy."
Right.
But you're not allowed to say, "I am Goofy." And you're definitely not allowed to have sex and film yourself doing it while wearing a Goofy mask. I'm just saying. But you're not.
That has happened.
That has happened. You're not allowed to film anything backstage. And people.
No, I have another story about that I can tell you in a minute.
That is a big no-no. Even when we did we were on the media tours with Disney, you were not allowed to film anything behind the parks. If they took you into an area and they said this is not show ready, again, that's slang for do not film here.
I don't have it pulled up, but I just saw a story a couple days ago. There was some cast members on one of the Disney buses that they were taking the people in costume to work. And somebody on the bus allegedly took a photo of some woman who was a fairy godmother in training, which is people who work at Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
Yeah.
And some other people on the bus. They took a picture and posted it. They fired the fairy godmother in training and people that were in the picture. But they didn't. They fired. They didn't know their picture was being taken. They weren't posing for the picture. They were just on the bus.
I don't think that's fair.
They fired. This is what the story is. I guess I didn't look into it yet, so there might be more to it. But supposedly they fired them. But the person who took the picture only got a warning. So I mean, they're ridiculous about it. And I think that banning this girl from parks and everything else to give her 1 day to leave is over the top. But Disney is effing ridiculous. Anyway. Before she was terminated, which she put a video up 2 weeks ago and said it was about a week before that. So you're talking 3 weeks ago. She has been posting all kinds of pictures on social media of herself as the character. Here she is as Snow White, and she posts it, then talks like she's walking with Snow White. So that one, okay, she could maybe get away with that because she's not saying it. But then you get up to, this one here. And she says, I don't know if I'm elated or gassy, which is the lyrics to the song, but clearly you're referring to yourself like I'm.
Honestly, I think just posting pictures of yourself in character on your social media is a no-no. I think that is actually in the contract you signed. And the thing is, it's not like they blindside you with this. Like as I understand it, I have never played a character at a Disney park, but as I understand it, they hammer this home.
Yes. I mean, I've never played a character at Disney Park either, but that's one thing as someone who covers this stuff, I know. Like, there's no problem with her walking around the parks, or taking pictures of the topiaries or things like that.
Yeah, there's no
I'm
problem
assuming,
with that.
or just following characters, unless it's one of them was her, and just posting those pictures. There's nothing absolutely wrong with this at all. Getting behind the scenes stuff that you're allowed to talk about, nothing wrong with. The problem is when you're posting pictures of yourself in costume. All Hail Queen Anna of Arendelle, and you're talking about working at Disney, and it's easy. It's not hard to figure out. I mean, and she also put, she did getting fired.
I'm celebrating getting fired. Okay, that's actually funny. I think that's funny. She knew the deal. Like, I don't know if she's a nice person, not a nice person. I have no idea, but she knew the deal. When she signed up for it, they make it very clear. And if she stole the fizzy lifting drinks, this is what happens. But I think she probably, if I had to guess, was more interested in building her career, like you said before we started recording, as an influencer, a Disney influencer. And how you quickly build your cred as a Disney influencer? Oh, I'm literally Disney princesses.
Well, even before that, she was a YouTube channel, and like I said, if you go to the article, there's a link to her video to make sure she gets to give her side. To be fair, I mean, it's one to be completely fair.
Yeah.
But if you look at her videos ahead of this one, it's all about her. I'm going to tell you, I bought a podcast mic to talk to you about being a Disney cast member and all this other stuff. And I'm like, they probably wouldn't have liked that either.
No.
I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm just saying they're absolutely ridiculous.
They are ridiculous. Like I said, we were not actually on the pay when we did the theme park stuff. We were not on Disney's payroll technically, but they still treated us like employees. Even though we were, because we were, they told me one time, I was in an event and they said, well, we consider you part of the Disney family. And that's code for you basically need to adhere to the rules that our employees do if you would like to continue coming back here and getting free shit. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a threat or anything, but like if they tell you, we consider you part of the Disney family, that means we expect you to act like an employee.
Even when we worked on other things that were Disney related, they'd have social media guidelines.
Yeah. Oh,
stuff
absolutely.
Like that. Apparently, they don't have to do that now unless they think you vote right.
They were ridiculous about that stuff. Even as, again, people that weren't on payroll, they were like, thou shalt not post this particular thing. Thou shalt not talk negatively about this particular thing. Thou shalt use the approved hashtags. Thou shalt put the disclaimer in there. And
so says our Lord and Savior Mickey Mouse.
Pretty much, like I would hear,
his son Bob Iger. Sorry.
I would hear from them within. I am not even kidding. Within a half an hour, if I got something wrong in an article,
or if you didn't have the right trademark sign,
if I have the right trademark, or I called something the wrong name, within I shit you not, a half an hour, somebody from Disney would reach out and be like, Hey there, fam. Just so you know, we don't consider it hot here in Florida. It's just, a little bit warm with love.
Yeah, that's
love is
Mickey's,
warming
Mickey's,
us all.
It's Mickey's hotness. Anyway,
Mickey's hot ass is
it pretty much smells like it too. So yeah, I think that Disney overreacts a lot in regards to this. However, I do think that unless something was, I'm not understanding correctly, there were posts made that are dated 6 weeks, 4 weeks ago, before she would have been fired and making her video.
Yeah, I think actually the childhood photo is probably the most innocuous of
that's the one
they
question her about. But like even before this, if you go back further, that's when they supposedly got fired, was this image. Like right after this image. But this one was there and this one was there.
Her whole Instagram
this one was there.
is, I mean, she's doing the Disney bounding stuff, that's cool, but you go through it and there are multiple images of her probably in character. She's probably Jessie in that picture, you know.
I don't know, or maybe because why else?
One of the dinosaurs, or one of the.
Say.
Yeah, she's Jessie. She's got multiple Jessie pics. That's probably her.
You know, or show someone follow her with the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's her or not, but you can tell it's her for these ones because that's her face. You know, that's definitely her.
Again, that's huge, big, massive no at Disney. She's probably Miss Bunny there or whatever, you know.
I don't know. She might just be visiting. I don't know. But it is a big no. That's why she got fired. I think banning her from the parks and telling her while they investigated she wasn't allowed to go to the parks or Disney Springs or anything else was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, that is overkill. So
Disney does overkill. It's ridiculous.
I'm surprised we haven't been banned from the parks. Well, they didn't ban.
We didn't do anything to deserve to be banned.
No. Actually, we didn't turn on Disney until they turned on us. That's a whole nother story. But I think that's overkill. I think if that was her, terms of employment that she was not allowed to talk about that's one thing.
I know you're not allowed to. I know you're not allowed to.
But saying you're never allowed in a Disney park again is ridiculous.
I don't know if that was after the investigation was over, but during the investigation, she was not supposed to be allowed in the parks. I don't know if her ban applies to afterwards, which seems that if it is, that's insane.
Well, one of the dwarves came forward and said you pinched his ass. So, Dopey,
joking.
Dopey's new name is Horny, and we don't.
Here says, after I did my article saying this, if you go to her Instagram, you can see she does have photos what appear to be her as Snow White. So, and things like that. And that's kind of after I said it. And here's her talking about her investigation and termination.
Yeah. This one I am really on the fence about because I think it's overkill that they were banning her from the parks, but I also know that they tell you can do this, you can do that, but you can't do this, you can't do that.
Here they said, here's somebody who said in Business Insider, they said about working at Disney, and they said, unfortunately, I felt like the role of my dreams could be snatched away as quickly as it was given at any moment if I became disapproved in my character.
Yep.
In my experience, you get disapproved in a number of ways, with the most well-known being that you get aged out of your character because you don't look like a 16-year-old cartoon princess. The most common fear for cast members was getting called into a meeting for a silhouette issue, meaning someone at Disney had a problem with your weight, or perhaps more accurately, how they perceived your weight. So, I wouldn't want to do it. Working at Disney is probably not the amazing, wonderful thing a lot of people think it is.
No, it's not. Especially if you go down below, if you go underneath Magic Kingdom.
Oh, explain down below, because I was very confused for a moment. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
No,
if you go down below, you get fired too. Sometimes you get a promotion. It just depends on who the person is.
But they have the utilidors that takes you underneath Magic Kingdom, and it's basically like Costco down there. But that is like the saddest place on earth. Like you go underneath Magic Kingdom, and if cast members are going to have a nervous breakdown, it's going to be down there.
Yeah, that's all the magic's up top.
All the magic is up top.
It sucks it out of everyone.
And some of them do. You can see them in the break rooms being like, I just can't. If I see another sticky fingered kid, I just can't.
And they said that they make sure they put other kinds of music down below. That's not Disney music.
No, it's like regular like radio. They're just playing.
Because they're probably like, I can't hear another round if it's a small world, or I'm going to punch somebody.
You go down underneath Magic Kingdom, and it is like a freaking Costco break room, like a giant. It's massive corridors. It's. Okay, so you know how we talked about aliens in that podcast.
Okay,
so they have this.
Segue,
they have
okay.
part of the alien conspiracy is a place called Dulce Base. Well, I imagine that Dulce Base looks a lot like underneath Magic Kingdom, just with more aliens and less Mickey Mouse and probably a lot less crying, even though they're supposed to be doing like horrifying experiments
Oh, I
to
know,
humans.
but you know what the thing is? The people that some of those guests that come in there, I've seen it. They treat cast members terribly. A lot of people are really nice to cast members, which you need to be. But I've seen cast members be dicks too. But people are just absolutely horrible to cast members sometimes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's usually because you caught up something that you're doing wrong, and then you yell at them. I mean, I don't blame them for crying. I couldn't do the job. I'm not going to say I could because I know I couldn't. I would have punched Timmy's mom within 5 minutes of work.
Timmy's mom has got it going on.
She's got a bloody nose, and I'm being hauled away by park security.
He's going with the cops. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it. There's so many times I've seen guests being belligerent to cast members that I'm like, God, you are so lucky you're at Disney World, because anywhere else you get an ass whooping. That'd throw you out of my business. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
And it's everything in my power not to scream at them for being rude. It's like, oh my God,
and
I'm gonna punch these people.
These poor kids are, I mean, they're not getting paid to put up with this shit. I think the princesses
adults too. They're not getting paid to pay.
Yeah. I think the princesses are probably in the best position.
They get groped and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so Gaston got groped, didn't he, by a woman?
Yeah. And then he got her kicked out, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Sexual assault, man. Don't care whether you're a dude or girl. It's just, Anyway, so that's the thing that's going on. Snow White is not being removed from theme parks. Inside the Magic is like the most clickbaity site out there.
It's how they're surviving, because there's no other way to survive.
Snow White is not being removed from the theme parks. However, the actress that one of the Disney College Program face actors that played the character did get fired, but don't worry, they have a bazillion of them ready to go, in the wings waiting for a turn.
That's a sad thing. And they already, and that's the Disney way, and that's kind of what got them with the Muppets too. Is that Steve Whitmire was angry because Disney just kind of looked at the Muppet performers as being voice actors. And they're like, oh yeah, if you're a problem, we just go get another Kermit. We got like 10 Kermits line. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't sound the same. It's not him. That's how they look at it. So there we go, guys. Hope she lands on her feet. She can go to Universal.
Well, she's already back home. Like, she went back home, which is not in Florida. So,
but that's gonna ruin working at or even going to Disney like forever. I mean,
I wouldn't. I mean, but I think just working at Disney will ruin you for one. It's just
being around them.
When you figure
as much
out,
as I was, has ruined it for me.
The real face of Mickey, it's not something that you will forget. But again, if you go out to piratesandprincesses.net, you can find a link to her side of the story and what she wants to talk about down there. So, anything else?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay, please like and subscribe.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.